Hello everyone. Hello, how is everyone doing? So welcome to the first Saturday exercise slash lecture. So I hope you all tried my examples that are located here of what we will be doing today. Today we will be doing the one example, the one app, and I will give you pointers how to solve the others. So when you solve them, you can send it to me, or I can show you how to put it online so everybody can see them and see your implementation. The one that we are going to solve today is a head, shoulders, knees and toes game. I hated that game when I was little, when I was in kindergarten also. And it's actually, there is a picture of a child and you need click the button that he to the part of the part of the body that he's pointing at. So it's head, shoulders, head, toes, knees, head, shoulders, and so on. If you fail at something, you get a minus point, and if you get it right, you get a plus point. So that's a really easy game to play. And also it's easy game to program, because if you open the elements here and actually the sources, I will show you how to do this. You can see the whole code is under 50 lines of JavaScript. So there is nothing complicated in this code. And if you followed my lectures till today, you'll be able to do this like with no problems. So yeah, the other time there is a boring table. If you enter like a name, a surname, and an age, and press create, it will create a new table entry. And if you press remove, it will actually remove it. So you can create like multiple of those and then remove it one by one. Just to show you that there are some difference, let me change my age. And then you can delete this one, then delete this one, and delete this one. So if you used like, how did Daniel, if you use like any app on the web, like they're boiled down to like entering data and then visualizing the data somewhere. So I enter data here and data is now visualized in the table. So also this solution has like a minimal amount of CSS and it's already included in like starting repository. So you don't need to do anything CSS or design here. And it's my peak like design skills. Pretty nice, right? Okay, and after that there is a change image. It takes some time to load all the images, but every time you go through the images with your mouse, they change after a while. So let's say I will change this picture. Yeah, this picture. Yeah. And there are random sizes. So one thing that I will show you today is how to create random numbers in JavaScript, and because they're random sizes. Yeah, and the random pictures again from the Unsplash site. So if I'll just want to show you this Unsplash. So if you need any like images for your projects or something like that, there are a lot of like open and free for use images here. I am not sponsored by them, but I'm using them a lot. Okay. So if a tutorial, yeah, if I try, I could probably make something better than this, but this is like, I'm totally okay with this. Oh, what? It stopped working? What happened here? Is it an error here? Or I can press the create button? No. Oh, this is my local copy. Oh, sorry. I just a second. I somehow closed the and opened the local. Okay. So, oh man, I need to close my Slacks. Yeah. So yeah, so everybody, you can like hop on to the Lockdown Learning now sh, and we can like look the code a little bit. So there is a way for you to open any page on the web, press inspect, and then go to sources here. Let me like little, yeah, it's better like this. So what you will see here is actually all the code and all the like resources that are used for some JavaScript page. Some of them are not readable, so some like websites or web apps will that's called obscurify. That will obscurify the code so it's not humanly readable. But all my websites are totally readable for humans, and you can copy paste the code, and you're free to do that. But if you see here, this is like the solution of your task for today. Let's say the Head and Shoulders game. Or if you open the boring game and click the script.js here, you can see that's the solution of your task. So try to solve it like yourself, but you can look here for pointers. But let's go back to the Head and Shoulders games. So click inspect, sources, and you can see the script.js here. You can see the index HTML here. Yeah. Also, you can see all the other resources, like all the resources that are used at the moment. So that's the knees image. If I click shoulders, if I click, okay, go away. You can see every time like something downloads here, you can see it here. So there are like 4 different images here, the index HTML and script.js. Yeah. So just to repeat, element, you can look the HTML at the current point, like how it looks, everything that changed there. Console, yeah, we did a lot of like coding here and trying to copy paste different things and see how it works. And you can see sources. So sources doesn't show like current HTML, but it shows at the point that you download it on your computer. So every time you get a website, you actually download the HTML, you download the JavaScript at your computer, and then it runs on your PC. All right. So open your GitHub, Lockdown Learning, download. There is an exercise 2 now at the moment, and there are like one index HTML that opens, and you will see it like this. And there are 3 folders and we will do the head, shoulders, knees, and toes game here today. The other one I will explain how you can do them, and you can do it on your own, and you can ask me at any moment that if you need any help today or tomorrow until the Tuesday, you can like try to solve this. It will really help you if you solve this with your it will help your learning curve a lot. So the problem with JavaScript, that learning curve is pretty steep. So anything you do, it will help you to become much better and to understand lectures much faster. So yeah. So there is an index HTML that has only like links, anchors to other projects. and we will open the head and shoulders, knees and toes game. Yeah. So let us look what is in here. So as we seen before, it's a simple game. You press head, shoulder, knees and toes button. So head, shoulders, knees and toes buttons. When you see the image that's like created here, if you press truthfully or correctly, you will get the result +1, or if you guess incorrectly, you will get result -1. So yeah, let's open our VS Codes and let's try to write this. So just a second. Sorry. So yeah, let's try and create something like this. So at this point, we see that we have images here. So there are head, knees, shoulders, and toes. So let us try and first like load an image to our image. Image img tag that has ID image. So okay, let's try and do it. So const image element equals document query selector, and we have an ID image. We've done this a lot of like lately. Last 2 lectures we've done like more than 100 these query selectors different. So okay. So after that, let's set the image element source to one of the images. So to get an images from a folder, we need to have that / notation. It's actually called a relative URL path, or relative path if you do it locally. So images / let's say head.png. So let's try to write this and see what will happen here. Let's open our index.html. Okay. So I opened the index.html, my local. You can see it because it creates a file here. And there is an image of a child touching his head. So this doesn't work at all. Okay, great. First thing we've done. Okay, that's great. But what's the problem? We need to create a random image here, not just like image of our choice. We need to create randomly, and every time a person guesses, it should change. It should change to something random. So let me explain how random works. So first, let's do some rand and say math.random. Okay, math with a lowercase a. So try to write this. I will paste it for everybody. And let's go to our console and try to do some math random stuff. So if you try math random and like type it a few times, you can see that actually, or you can see it right here, but math random is between, it gives a number between 0 and 1. So how can we get like, we have 4 different pictures, like for head, shoulders, knees and toes. How we can get like a number from 1 to 4 from this, like totally random numbers. So let's try to do something with that. If we try to like multiply something with that, let's say 10. What will happen here, we will actually get a random number from 0 to 10, not inclusive, okay? You probably, no, just a second. Is it inclusive? I really don't know now. Maybe it's inclusive. I need to check this out. We will check this out in MDN documentation. So yeah, that's a good question. Okay, So what we've done here is actually we will get a random number between 0 and 10. If we need to get like a number that's an integer, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and not a decimal number, we actually can do that with matfloor. So matfloor, actually, what will happen? Like if you have 1.5, you will get 1. If you get 1.7, you will get 1. It will get the lower number of our the lower integer number of our decimal. So the closest lower number. So let's try to do it like this. So what we'll have here is mat random, but like this. 1, 2, 2, 8, 8, 7. Okay, it's random. Let me paste this. So what this does is actually we'll get a random integer number, like a whole number, that's like between 0 and 10. Okay, 0 is inclusive, but 10 is actually then non-inclusive in this way. So we will get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are like, when we call this, we'll get one of those numbers. So okay, let's write 4. So if we write 4, we actually get a random number between 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's pretty okay. So we get random four different numbers, like 0, 1, 2, and 3. If you really want to get like 1 to 4 and not 0 to 3 in this example, we can actually do that by just writing +1 here. So every random number now will be between 1 and 4, because we said, okay, give me a random number times 4, so the number will be between 0 and 4, 4 not included, plus 1, so it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and matfloor to get an integer. So you can, with only this part, you can get like 3.6, and matfloor that, and you will get actually, get 3. So I'll paste this. Okay, so the mat random, it's used often because like if you need anything random, the mat random is the only game in town, and this is really often used like this. So you floor it, multiply by number that's the highest, and then add 1. So you'll get numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4 if you want it like this. So let me paste it here. Okay. So what we need to do now is actually we can do it with if. We've done if, right? So if random is 1, we can say image element.source. Let's say 1 is head. Right? Else if random is 2. If random is 2, we can set source equals to images shoulders, right? I need to double check it. Yeah, shoulders. Then we can do else if rand equals 3. Then we can copy paste this and say it's not shoulders, but now our knees. And else if random is 4, we can say toes. We can delete this first image. So yeah, everybody following me? Cool. So if you get random 1, we will get head, random 2 is shoulders, random 3 is knees, random 4 is toes. So let us try it. Like, try to refresh this page. So, yeah, error found. let's see what is what's here. The images. So yeah, you need to write the path correctly. So it's images, it's not image. Okay, let's try. Okay, these are shoulders, toes, knees. Can I get the head? Okay, there it was. So okay, that's pretty good. But of course, we need to refresh our page for it, so it's better for us to write it in a function, because every time we click here, we need to reload this image. So let's do that. So everything that we have here, let's write in function. So function, I don't know, get new image, and copy everything that we have here inside an image. And after that, we can call it to get the first image, right? You need to call the function because it won't run if you don't call it. How about that? Let us actually run this and see what's happening here. Oh, okay, it works fine. We can always call get new image. So you can see it's truly random because they're like repetition of the same picture. It's not a bug, it's just random how it works. You can get like number 1 to infinity in true random. You won't get in JavaScript random. JavaScript random is pseudo random actually. So if you know math, you will understand what I'm talking about. Oh man, okay. So we created a function called get new image and called it. And so what we need to do is every time we click a button, we actually need to get a new image. So, okay, let us try to do that. So we have 4 buttons here. So every time we click that button, we actually get a new image, and then we get, if we guess correctly, a point, and if we guess incorrectly, we get a negative point or our point reduced. So okay, so let us try to do that. So we have 4 buttons: head button element equals document query selector hashtag head. Let me double check that if that's correct. Yeah, so the ID is head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So what we can do here is actually copy paste this line 4 times, and this will be shoulders button, this will be knees button, and this will be toes button. So shoulders button element will document query selector hashtag shoulders, this will be hashtag knees, and this will be hashtag toes. If I'm typing too fast or if I'm copy pasting too fast, just say in the chat. I will show this I will prolong the time that I'll show this code. Okay, after that, what we need to do is actually set the onClick, right? So there is head button element dot onClick. Let for now say that is get new image. So what will happen here every time we click the head button? Oh, we can leave this head button element. Actually, we will call the get new image function. So that's pretty cool. So again, I will copy paste this 4 times. There are better ways of to program than me copy pasting this for infinite time, but we will try to at least for now like just copy paste and not make clever and more unreadable a code, more clever way and like more unreadable code, because a lot of programmers like to create like really smart snippets of code and they are totally unreadable, and I go really against it. Okay, so let us try. So we got our 4 buttons and then we set on click to get new image. So refresh this and let's try. Yeah, it works. Every time we click any button like here, it actually changes the image. Pretty cool, right? Okay, but what we need to do like here more. So the problem here is we need to like get our point, and we need to find if this our guess is correct or incorrect. So let us look at this. So when I click knees here, what should happen is, right? Okay, what should happen, I should get a point, and then the image should change to something else. So actually here, it's not really a great thing to like set on click to get new image, because get new image is just getting a new image. We need to have another function here. Let's say that function should be called, I don't know, test results, right? So we call the test result, then we can see if something is like if our guess is correct or incorrect, and that we get a new image. So let me comment like test result, if it's correct we should get a point, and then get new image, right? So we will write some code here like test result. If it's correct we get a point, if it's not our point are decreased, and then we get an image. So actually it's better for us to change. Let me just show you. This is just at now this function just calls get new image function, but we will write some code here, and we should probably change the on click to test results. So when we click on any element, we shouldn't like just get a new image. We should test results and then get a new image. So we need to do something like here. Okay, let us try just if it works properly. Okay, it should work totally the same, because everything test result does for now is getting the new image. Okay, cool. Okay, so how can we test the results here? I will show you a secret that I said that I will show you. Every time we click a button, to this function here, it's actually sent in an argument when the button calls that function. In arguments, we get the event here. So let's try like just the console log or console dir, it's better, the event. So we'll see like what the button sends to via arguments when the test result function is called, or their on click function is called. So refresh this and let's see. Let's press those. Okay, it's called mouse event, and let's see what data we have here. So where on the screen did we press the button? Okay, is it the click with control key or shift key or alt key? Remember when we tried to like shift and pull, it's actually a lasso like control on Windows, let's say, or control click when you need to have like multiple things selected. Okay, meta key, I don't know what is this at all. Let's see, to element, like, okay, what's else in there? Timestamp, when this happened. Target. So we actually looking for target because the target is like what element was clicked with this. There's also to element, but that's a little bit more complicated. Like to target gets us like what was clicked, what element was clicked, and we can see it's it's input toes. So I clicked input toes. Okay, we can see here, there we can get like the value of the input that's here. So value is actually in buttons, that's what's written here, what's written on the button. Then we can see there are a lot of things here. We can actually get the on click, like you can see on click is set to test results. We can actually get this function via this. Okay, there is a lot of this. There is also ID. So like we can get the class name from here, or class list if you remember. We can get the ID. We can get what tag name is, so it's input. That's cool. All attributes are here. Like we can get the HTML that's clicked in here. So every event that we click, we can get like a lot of data here. So okay, because we get the whole like element in here. So okay, let's try to do something like this. Let's try the console. We can console log or console here, doesn't matter. Target dot ID. So we will try something easy. We won't like overcomplicate stuff at the moment. Okay, so open the console and click toes. Knees, okay, shoulders, head, okay. Pretty cool. So what happens actually when you click on this button, we will print out the target element that was clicked and then its ID. So ID of the target element that was clicked. Okay, you can see that in code. We said event.target.id. Okay. Pretty cool. So now what we have is the first part of our if statement. So if event target ID is equal to something, then it's correct or incorrect. But we need probably to set that something when we create this get new image, because the only time we have data of like what image is on the in the HTML is actually here. So let me try to do something. Remember when I talked about that there are something called scopes, and you can get the data out of this in the scope from out of the scope. So let me demonstrate. Okay, let's say that we can say let current image ID. So we'll get like an undefined here value. So it's a variable current image ID that has the value undefined. But what we can do is actually in this function we can change the variable here. So that's kind of dangerous, but is totally fine to do it in this situation. So what we can do here is set the current image ID to head. If it's shoulders, we can set it, or copy pasting, to shoulders. If it's knees, we can set it to knees. If it's toes, we can set the current image ID to toes. So from outside of the block, you can't like change the variables inside of block, but from inside the block, you can change the variables from outside the block. The problem here that's real dangerous because these variables are something called global variables if they're not inside any block. And in programming, we like to, let's say, avoid global variables because they are pretty much a headache when you do larger applications. But for now, I will do it like this because this is the simplest way. It's not the most secure way because you can create some bugs with this. But for sake of this example, I will use it like this. So let us try to not just print the current the event target ID, but we should print also the current image ID. Okay, let me just repeat what happened here. So every time we get a random number, we actually set the source of a new image, and also we set the current image ID to head, shoulders, knees, or toes that correspond totally to the IDs head, shoulders, knees, and toes here. Okay? Let us try what will happen here. Let's refresh this. So this is image of head, right? Oop, have I not refreshed or? Let me double check the code. What I have missed here. Console, oh, it's console dir. That's the problem. Console dir only takes one, right? Am I right? Yeah, okay. So this is the image of knees, right? Knees, head. Let's try shoulders, head. So we need to check if these two strings are equal. And if they are, we guess correctly. If they're not, we guessed incorrectly. Let's try a little bit. Shoulders, knees. Oh, it's shoulders. Okay, it works properly. So let me try to write this. So if event.target.id is equal to current image ID, we should write out console correct. Else we should write incorrect. Let us try this. Okay, it's a simple if. So if event target ID is equal to current image ID, we should console log correct. If not, we should console log incorrect. F5, and let's see. These are toes. Yes, it's correct. These are shoulders. That's also correct. Shoulders again. Okay. Shoulders again. Shoulders again. Okay. Head, knees. How about toes? It's incorrect. So every time we do something correctly, that's a point up, and incorrect is point down. So you can see that our point that don't change here. So points don't change because we haven't implemented that yet. We haven't written our code that does that. Okay, let us try and write that out. So every time we do get something correct, we guess something correct, we should actually call some function. Let's say that function will be called, I don't know, get points. And we should call get points. Let's say also here we can say number. So what we can have here is get points 1. And this we can say get points -1. So every time we get something correct, we can delete this console log, whatever. But whenever we get something, get something correct, we should get 0.1, and when we get something incorrect, we should get -1. Okay, so let us try to do that. So the points are written here in this part here with ID result. So let us try to get const result element equals to document query selector result. Let me double check if that's correct. It is. It says ID equals result. Okay, cool. Okay, we can actually do here all the calculation that we need. If the number, so we can do, I don't know, we essentially say const value, or maybe better is let value equals to result element dot text content. The problem here is that this value will become string, but text content is always string, and we want to have a number. We know that we have a number in HTML, but is like when we call it, it becomes a string. So we need to say number here. Remember that was an issue in our first lecture. When we get something and we get string and we want to transform in number, so we can say something like this. So let value. We can then say value is value increased by number. And after that, we can, what we can do? We can do here that result element dot text content is equals to value. So we actually, what we do here is actually we get the result element, we get the value of the result element dot text content, we increase that by the number here, and then we return it to our text content of result element. Let us try it. So when we guess correctly, we will get points with 1, and we get incorrectly, we will get point with -1. Okay, this is head, this is knees again, toes. Okay, I decrease them, toes. Okay, we get to -1. Pretty cool, right? So it's like 50 lines of code. How about that? So that's pretty cool, right? We have everything here. We can play this out. I go to minus some number. But let's say that I'm totally losing and I want to do something like this. So get this element here and change it to 100. You know what will happen now? I actually just hacked the game. So the problem here is that via HTML, we are using the HTML value here. We are getting the value of the result element, and we are actually increasing it and decreasing it, returning. We aren't checking. We are checking the truth in HTML, and HTML could be changed in the front end. So what we can do here is actually we can, I don't know, create something like result here, and we can increase it and decrease it. So HTML, if we're changing the HTML, nothing would happen. Let's try to do it like this. So at the moment, the result we don't need this anymore, and we can say that result text content is actually result equals result plus number, and result element text content is equal to result. So every time this function is called, we will increase or decrease the result here. So let us try that. Let me try and press something. Okay, let me try change this. I will come back to that code. No problem if you're not getting it. Oh, you can see the jump. So if I have 100 and I press those, it's actually -3 because I guessed correctly. So this is the much better way of keeping a result, like let's say safe, but it's not safe. I will show you how to like do some changes here. So if we get to, let's say, our example, let's go to console and try to write result equals 100. And then we press this in this, our result is 101. If we say result is -100 and we say head, our result is -99. So that's why I don't like, or any programmer doesn't like global variables, because the global variables are like out in the open and you can change it via your console, because every HTML or every JavaScript file is actually downloaded on your PC, and you can edit that HTML file with the DevTools from Chrome, or you can like change it with change the JS file, because JS file is just ordinary text. So in the future we'll go back to this and how to like stop the user like accidentally changing something in their browser and like changing the data that's secure that need to be shown. There is not a really great way to put to keep like the user changing the code and HTML in your browser. The best way is to not put anything secure in your HTML page. So that's a little bit sketchy, because you know you've done online shopping or something like that, and you need to put your card in there and so on. There are ways to for HTML page to become more safe than this example here. So let's not go deep in that. There are a way. The first way is to every time to check. It's easy. Just check. Go to GitHub and check if you have a lock here and it says connection secure. If the connection is secure, you are really just talking to the people that are made this page. So this is like the first step that we need to do. If we look here, like we are viewing a local or shared file. But if we go back to our Lockdown Learning, you can see that Lockdown Learning now.sh is secure. So you know that when you're downloading something from this URL, you're getting actually my data and not like some change data or somebody wanted to do something. We will go in more details in the future about this, because the web security is something that's pretty important. It's at least for now is an emerging thing, because a lot of people just don't think about how secure are their websites and so on. So that's a great that's a great part of like DevSec, called development security or web development, that you can learn and you can offer your services to someone with that. But yeah. So any questions, guys? Just ask me anything about this. So also, if somebody is a good tester, you can try to play around with this app. Try to change a few like HTML things or JS things and see what will happen. Like how this app is secure, how the points here really like are they real? Are they because the user like guessed correctly, or are they like set from somewhere and so on? You can play around it. Yeah, I'll go back to code this less code that we. So as you can see, this like 50 lines of code. It's a simple application. It's not that complicated at the moment. You can imagine if this file was like 100 or 200 lines long, it would be a problem, because you cannot really find like what's happening here. There are way in IDs to find like functions that you need. You can always find with control and find, but also there are some different control stuff, like using F1 to search like your old files here, and so on. The best way for me is to actually split the code in multiple scripts, in multiple JS files, and I will show you that in the future. Actually, like any more complicated project is actually split in like 100 files, so don't worry. If your code gets like unwieldy in these examples that that you could be working today, you are doing something wrong. Try to see the solutions in the lockdown in the lockdown site. Every example here is maximum like 50 lines. Like change image is really easy. It's like 10 lines of code. Yeah, okay. So let's try to see like what's in here. So let's try the simpler first. The change image is much simpler. So let's take a look at this first. So in your script file, I wrote something. How you can create the solution really easily. So write a function that creates image elements that have a random image from source Unsplash, example here. Make it so every time mouse enters the image, it reloads in some other image. The mouse enters the image. It reloads some, okay. It reloads some other image. Yeah. It was really late when I wrote this. I'm really sorry, guys. I will just push it so you can download it. Okay, so if we get back to Lockdown Learning and see what this does, is actually we have like multiple images here. And when we go here, it actually changes the images. So what I can show you here is that actually there are just multiple images here. You can see that it's http source unsplash.com/random, and there are two like same numbers, so equal numbers, like 166 times 166, but the 166 is totally random. So I'm using the number between like 100 and 500, from 100 to 500. So I'm actually using the met function that we tried before, and I'm using it like 500 from 100 to 100. So this will get me a random number between 100 and 500. So here we go. This is like a big part of the solution. So actually there is one function that I call every time like something happens here. If you need help with this, you can always like open the sources and see in script. Actually, there are two different functions, because I wouldn't want to overly complicate this. And there are like a lot of calls to add new image, so it creates multiple images here. Yeah. So you can do this in like 30 minutes or so. It's pretty fun to try this around, and because there is some delay, because every image here is downloading, so if you want to see like what's downloading from your browser on your via HTML on your PC, you can press inspect here and go to network. Press here all. So let's see, look at this. Look at this. So everything here is actually a photo here. So there are some failed calls because we have already on our PC that image, but there are some like failed calls because we are moving so fast that that the photos are being cancelled and created and so on. So you can see that we got this image here and we put it somewhere. Yeah, here. Yeah, you can play around with this. This is really funny. Okay. So what you need to do here is actually create two functions or a function if you want it more complex, and you can make it so every time something enters, just let me see, something a mouse enters the image, it reloads to some other image. So yeah, that's pretty simple. And let's go to the more complicated example, not this one, but the table. So this table is the one with beautiful design. This beautiful let me see if it works. Oh, right. Let me just do something in the background, because I have changed the source code, because I've pushed something. Yeah, I actually create that every time I push something to the GitHub repo, it actually redeploys this site. So I accidentally broke it. Yeah, it doesn't work at this moment. Yeah, but this what we will see the example like a little later. But what it does is actually every time we enter a name here, surname here, and age in this input, we click this commit button. It actually creates in here a table row with table data foreign times. Let's say David Abram 30, and here creates an input. You don't need to write this with me if you're trying to do. Type button and value is delete or something like this. So yeah, so let me explain a little bit about tables. So tables are special tags. Each table is defined with a table. It needs to have exactly one t-body in there, and then it can be multiple TRs. The TRs are actually table rows. So it's called table row. TH is table head. It actually defines your like head of columns or head of rows with TH. TD is, it should be like TC, like table cell, but it's actually TD, like table data or something like that, because TD's element represent a data cell in the table. It says with MDN reference here. And you can put anything in there. And if we try to go to my local copy of it and go to boring table, you can see that actually it's created David, Abram, age 30, and delete action. That doesn't work at this point. If we refresh the lockdown one, let's try here. So the same thing, David, Abram 30, create, good. We get the element here, remove, we remove it. So yeah, you will need to create, and I wrote it down here. So create a function that gets data from the inputs and create a new person a table row. This is the TR. So this is how it should look. Set the on click of the button remove here, so it removes the table row from the table. So this is the other part of this thing. So the first part is pretty simple to do. The second part is more complicated because you need to understand the event.target. So the solution for here is in event.target. The other part that's a bit more complicated is that I wanted you to like go around and snoop around how to insert, how to append an element, append the similar to append child, but append element before some other element. So I will just write this down. I will just Google in MDN, and it's called insert before. Yeah. And I will paste it here because the solution of easily inserting it here is in this this documentation part. So yeah, this table task is a little bit more complicated. It should take like few hours for you. It could be really complicated if you, because you need to like search net a little bit, like try to go to the documentation to find few different like easier way to do this, because you can do it like hard way and easy way. And I just I'll say look through this. This is the easier way of inserting nodes in here. Here the solution is event target, so try to do that. I will push this so you can see. Just let me, so you can see what goes on here. Okay. If you have any questions about this, just contact me directly. So if you can do the second one that takes a few hours, you know like everything that we've done until now. If you have problems, don't worry, I can help you. We can go like together through this and try to see what's the problem, what are the problems that you have here. So if you need like if you want just if you want the quick solutions, you can always look the sources here, script.js, and you can see the solution here. I would suggest for you to first try to create on your own, and then if you need help, ask me, or at least look at the solutions. I have a lot of time during the weekend, so we can go like on one-on-one call, and we can go through the code, your code, and we try to find a better solution here. Okay, guys. So any questions, guys? While I'm still online and you look at my beautiful table. Like I'm not sure. I mean, I can probably get this to look much better, but I'm totally okay with this. This looks like 90s internet. At least like incompetent 90s like internet design, so I'm totally fine. I mean, in my defense, I've done some design work and it looks better than this. This is like the best I can do on Friday night. Coding is fine, design, nope. So guys, if there are no questions or something like that, I would leave you to try to do the tasks. If you need some help about it, contact me. If you have solutions, just send to me. I can double check them. I can like comment on your code if you've done something better than me in these examples. because so one thing, these examples aren't like optimally written. You can do it much better. They're written so anybody that started programming can understand. That was my goal here, to create simple solutions, not like really clever ones. Okay. Okay, guys, if there are no questions, I will see you on Tuesday. If you don't ping me before, on Tuesday we will do something really great, and those are arrays, map, reduce, filter, and all the crazy things you will need to know for like to go to the intermediate step of JavaScript. Okay, guys, see you then. See you.